This quick video just to show you how to analyze means in iNZight Lite. So this assumes that you can't or don't want to install iNZight on your main computer. So this is the first interface for iNZight Lite. We need to import a data set from the File menu. Browse to my data set, and you can see here I've input it as an Excel spreadsheet, so we don't need to have a CSV file. In the data set I have a range of variables, a score, a tutorial number 1, 2, 3 or 4, and a tutor A or B. The tutorial variable is recognized as a numerical one, so I'm going to convert that to a categorical variable. We can see that there's a new variable here. To analyze the data, so it's from the visualize menu, it's selected score. I'm not quite sure why it chose to do that, but it's drawn me a box plot of it. If I want to do a hypothesis test on that, I can use the inference button here. You can see it's defaulted to a 95% confidence interval. This t-test is a two-sided one that the mean is equal to 0. It's almost certainly not appropriate. I can change that hypothesis by selecting change hypothesis. It's all very intuitive. If mu equals 12, say, in H0, I can change that. You can see the 12 is updated. The test statistic and the p-value have all updated. One-sided hypotheses are available there. If I choose a variable with a second variable, which is a categorical variable with two categories, we can see it's automatically updated what it's presented. Individual confidence intervals, a confidence interval for the difference in means, and then a default hypothesis test that the true difference is equal to 0, where equal variances has not been assumed. If I select the two sample test here, I get some more control over the null value, whether it's a one or two-sided alternative, but also whether or not I use equal variance. If I confirm that, it adds to the bottom an f-test for equal variance, and again changes the test statistic subtly, so it's used a pooled variance and used that in place of sigma 1 and sigma 2 in the sigma 1 and sigma 2 squared in the denominator. Different degrees of freedom. If I unclick that and confirm, the f-test goes away and the degrees of freedom is different, and the calculated test statistic is slightly different. Of course the p-value changes as well. In the case of a second variable which is categorical with more than two categories, then it does automatically an analysis of variance for us in ANOVA associated with that, individual confidence intervals for the means, and various other things. The plots also update as we change these the variable selection. So it's all very intuitive. It's relatively similar to what we would do in the full-blown iNZight. In many ways it's quite nice to use this interface. So very intuitive, and nicely designed bit of software.